Yo, my fellas, what's the deal, boys?
Yo, what's up?
Go on. What's up?
Yo, man, it's that time of the year again. We literally, maybe about 5 weeks, 6 weeks outside the startup of the NBA. You know what I mean? So we got a lot to talk about. Our last podcast was a while back, but we got a newcomer, right? We got a newcomer, Andrew, out of Canada. You know what I mean? And the first thing we want to ask you, our natural hosts, I got Charles on the top left, Drew on the bottom. But our first question is going to be, who's in your top five of Mount Rushmore? So just name your top five so we kind of know how to gauge you as personality.
Yeah. Well, obviously my number one guy is Michael Jordan. He's my number one.
So is this going to be in order? Is this going to be in order?
No, just my top five in
this number one though. Still number one.
Yeah, Jordan is my number one. Yeah.
Okay.
Then I have to take LeBron James, man, because what he's accomplished so far and the longevity. I know you don't like that, but
Yo, this guy's frozen.
I ain't say nothing. Oh, he's frozen. That's what happened when he goes after his name's LeBron James, number two.
Number two overall.
This is what happens, man. You get the plugs are pulled. Oh, he's back.
All right. So we got your number two all time. I'll question it at the end, but go ahead with 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, then I do have Shaq. Shaq is in there. I have to put Shaq up in there.
Okay.
I guess my fourth would probably Magic Johnson. I got to put him up there too.
That's respectable.
And then my fifth, I got to put Kareem up there, man. I have to put Kareem.
So in no particular order, you got Jordan. Jordan and LeBron.
He said his 1 and 2. His 1 and 2.
So
yeah.
So LeBron is the second best player you've ever seen with your eyeballs. See,
no,
that's the way you got to answer the question. But anyway, we're going to hold you to that. So we got Jordan, LeBron. You said Shaq, Magic, and then Kareem.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean that's respectable. It's respectable. And Charles, go ahead and name your top five again. So he can orientate
mine. Let's start off with MJ, Kareem, Magic, Bird, and I'm dropping Kobe up in there.
Oof.
Okay.
Mr. 81 points, Mr. 63 and 3/4.
It's a tough one.
Multiple times. It is. Mr. 5 championships.
It is tough because I have. Because Michael Jordan and Kobe are similar, right? So that's why I didn't put him up there. But that's just me.
So you didn't want to duplicate that position? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much, man.
Okay. So
but I do think Kobe is a better scorer than Michael Jordan, though. That's just
I have no clue why you would say that. That's not even close. And it's not even close. Now your respectable meter has just dropped off. Come on, bro. 10 scoring titles to Kobe's 2? Come on.
Let me specify. I think he hits more difficult shots than Michael did. That's all I'm saying. That's what I mean.
I love when people say this because I love the challenges. How do you quantitate that? How do you qualify that? Like, what do you mean he hits tougher shots? Because Jordan has hit winners, buzzer beaters, fall away, fadeaways, everything. Anything that Kobe is.
How about this? Everybody know what this is, right? Everybody knows what this is, right?
Switch hands. Not to hey, Charles. You know what people forget? Because when we were growing up, his actual staple thing was blindfold, closing his eyes at the free throw line. Who's done that in the NBA history? Who has done it with the game online? Come on, bro. Stop it, bro. Stop it.
That's a good point.
I respect Kobe. I like Kobe. He's not on Jordan's level.
No,
he is on Jordan's level, but he's just below Jordan. Put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Okay, so I got, and Charles hates me when I say this, but obviously I got Jordan number one. LeBron. After number one, I had no particular order, but Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Tim Duncan, and hold on, and Shaq. That's who I got. And I can explain mine. Every person that I've named, they're the best at their position in history. They're the best at their position in history. So that's why they stand upon the Mount Rushmore. LeBron's the best small forward I've ever seen. Jordan's the best all-around player plus two guard, off guard. Shaq, I think, is the best visual. I mean, Kareem, he got most points, but Shaq is, unstoppable in my eyes. Magic Johnson, the best point guard, and Tim Duncan is the best power forward I've ever seen. So anyway, all right, so you guys are orientated to our personalities and what we deem to be great. But let's start off with the news of the day, because it's throwing me off here, man. Terrible news. Klay Thompson is out for the season. Is this another pass for LeBron James to get a championship? Drew, how do you feel about Klay Thompson getting a season-ending injury today? Well, it happened yesterday, but diagnosed today.
Yeah, man. When I heard the news, it was shocking and disappointing, because, he's coming off, again, another injury before he actually started the season, So, it's pretty sad, but I think they'll make the playoffs. I don't know if they'll go any further. They're not passing the first round. But yeah, I don't think so. You can't have one without the other, man. These guys are prolific scorers, both of them. But I don't think they can go far without each other, man. That's just me.
All right, Charles, I know you're already disappointed. So where do you have Klay Thompson in terms of the pecking order on that team? I mean, is he the most important player, or is he the X factor? Like, how do you look at Klay Thompson, and how do you take the injury?
Injury hurts, bro. It hurts my heart. Hurts my heart. For my man Klay to go down like that, bro. He's probably the second best shooting guard in the league. Hands down, behind James Harden. Okay. And to have him not part of the season again in 2 years in a row, that hurts, bro. We needed him. Yeah. And I'm always about, the betterment of the league. So, to have another playoff championship contender in Golden State vying with the Lakers is exactly what we needed. We needed that storyline. We needed to see if they're going to be better than Clippers or as good as Denver. That's the story we really needed, and now we're not going to get that. But we do get to see Steph Curry and what he can do when he's the lone superstar on the team. I know they have Wiggins there, and I believe they traded for Kelly Oubre today. Wiggins.
Oh, say word?
Yeah, they got Kelly Oubre. Yeah, they got Kelly Oubre today.
And then they have Draymond and young man Wiseman. So, there's a decent team, but Klay Thompson takes them to that stratosphere where they have the best backcourt in NBA, probably NBA history.
And Klay is what, 6'7"? 6 or something like. Okay. Yeah. So he would have a turn at guarding LeBron if necessary, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Drew, how do you feel about that lineup?
I didn't know Kelly Oubre was traded on a team now. That just changes my whole perspective now, because I mean, with Kelly Oubre, he's like a 19, 20 point scorer. So I mean, he can fill that void. Obviously not as the caliber of Klay Thompson, but I mean, that's a good pickup, man. I don't know. They could make some noise then.
Noise as in second round to you, or you think they can still win the championship?
No, I don't think they can win the championship, but I mean, second round, I would think. But that's a good pickup, man. I didn't know about that.
Okay, listen to me. I don't know. Again, it throws off the outlook of the whole season for me. people are going to say, don't worry about Golden State because the Clippers are going to be the number one contenders. I don't trust the Clippers. People say they got a new head coach. I still think they got the same coaching heads. I mean, Ty Lue going from backup coach to front coach, that doesn't really matter to me. And I don't see any leadership on that Clippers team. You know what I mean? They dropped their panties last season. It looked horrible to me. I still don't think Kawhi is not going to load manage, so he's definitely going to load manage. It's just I just don't trust the Clippers. Dog, how do you feel about the Clippers?
I don't even know why we're talking about the Clippers. This is not a barbershop. We shouldn't be talking anything about no Clippers, shape ups, none of them dudes. The contenders in the West are going to be only one team, and that's going to be the Denver Nuggets. If anything, I'll talk about Dallas before I talk about the Clippers. Because they took them to 6 without Kristaps. So why can't they beat them with them?
Yeah, their ceiling is high, man. I agree with that.
So you have the Dallas Mavericks as contenders this year, or I mean, what are we saying?
I don't think they could beat the Lakers.
Yeah, I don't think
got
so.
Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
Yeah.
That experience will definitely beat out whatever talent those two young guys out in Kristaps and my man Luka. So,
okay. How you feel about Dallas, Drew?
Yeah, I think they're a contender, man. But just piggyback what Charles says. I don't think they're gonna beat LA because I mean they're top dogs. But they got a shot this year to I think make the conference finals for sure. But going to the finals, I don't know about that. That stops there.
Okay. All right, so let's get right to the other big news. Other big news is, Harden wants that breakup. How you guys feel about that? So Harden has not committed to the pretty much the largest contract in NBA history. Literally 2 years, $100 million, and he turned that down. And he's looking to go elsewhere, potentially Philly, who's Charles's team, and potentially Brooklyn. I mean, does Harden put anyone over the top? Anybody? I don't even care if it's the Lakers. Does Harden put anyone over the top, Drew?
No, I don't think so. Flat out no.
You don't respect Harden at all?
I just think he's a great scorer. He's an isolated scorer, but I don't think he's a franchise caliber player that would take someone to the top. That's just my opinion. I don't think so.
Right, but the whole premise of it all is that he's not opting into his $50 million contract. He's trying to go elsewhere, potentially tag up with other people. So he wouldn't be the number one option. If he goes to Brooklyn, he wouldn't be the number one option. And if he goes to Philly, I don't think he'll be the number one option. So either way, I think he knows his worth, and he figured out he's not the best player on the team to win a championship, and he's looking elsewhere. And that's my takeaway about it. Charles,
you see.
Go ahead, Drew. Go ahead, Drew.
I was just gonna say if he does go to Brooklyn, you're gonna have 3 dominant basketball players holding that rock. So I don't know how that's gonna work, man. And how Kyrie is, he's a dominant mental player. So I just don't see that as a good fit for him going there at all. That's just me.
Dog.
Well, it depends for me. The team like let's say if James Harden went to the Brooklyn Nets, there's going to be a trade and they're going to lose a lot of depth. And so do I think that's going to put them over the top? Nah, because you're subtracting little too much, You subtract who are you going to get to fill in the void now at, let's say, small forward, or because I expect KD to really play like power forward, small forward,
He's definitely
so who's gonna fill in that void afterwards? Who's gonna be that small ball 5?
I think
who's gonna be that small ball 4?
Dinwiddie will be a good fit. I mean, they got a deep team. I understand they'll be trading away some, potential stars or potential role players, but if they somehow keep Dinwiddie and a couple other players,
I expect Karis LeVert to be shipped off right along.
Okay.
Him and probably I think Joe Harris is his name. Both of those guys have to be traded for him.
For Harden.
Yep, and maybe even Q-Tip, my man. What's his name? Allen. Josh Allen, I think that's his name.
Okay, yeah.
Black dude with the fro.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't think they're gonna get rid of him. No. I don't know about that. That's a hefty, package for one guy. I don't know about that, man.
First of all, he's was it one-time or two-time league MVP?
Two-time
League MVP.
Just one.
Just one.
I think he has one. Yeah.
Just one.
But he does have multiple scoring titles, no?
Yeah, he does. But
I mean, what are we talking about here? Why wouldn't you trade for that?
I don't know. Josh Allen and like I'm just saying from what we were just discussing, all those other three guys, if you're trading for that, I don't know. That's tough. That's tough, man.
I think it's too much because somehow you devalued James Harden, but James Harden's a great player. I mean,
yeah, he is for sure.
I have to go back to what you're saying that he can't be the number one option, though. It's not that he can't be the number one option. You got to have a good system. When else have you seen like a guard really lead a team to a championship?
Jordan, Kobe. What are we talking about here, bro?
That's it. But they also had bigs though.
Magic.
Except Jordan, everybody had a big with him. A nice big.
I mean, I hear you, but
except Jordan and Steph Curry, but Steph Curry didn't win that MVP.
Jordan's the exception, so let's just throw out in Jordan. But LeBron James is a non-big. He's won multiple championships.
AD, Chris Bosh, Kevin Love. What do you mean?
Those guys they weren't major factors. They were A factors. They weren't major factors. Come on, bro.
Bro, those guys were top 5 players in the league, bro.
I don't think so.
Top 5 player in the league.
Drew, you agree with that or disagree with that assumption? That Kevin Love and Chris Bosh were ever top 5s in the league at any point. I mean, I wouldn't say any point, but not when they were playing with LeBron. They weren't top 5 when they were playing with LeBron.
That's the LeBron factor. He's not going to have. You're not going to play with LeBron and they're going to be 3 great scorers. You're not. He's too ball dominant.
They were great role players. That's what I would say. But I don't top 5 or top 10. I don't know about that. I mean, they were just great role players.
I'll give Chris Bosh the top 10 because he was definitely.
I give.
Let me get this straight. Kevin Love was the top rebounder in the NBA
in Minnesota.
He was a bulldog in Minnesota.
I don't care if he was in Puerto Rico. He was a top rebounder in the NBA, and he averaged like 25 points per game.
In Minnesota.
And Blake Griffin, basically. And Chris Bosh. Those 3 were the best in the league, bro.
Nah, bro. I disagree with that. I ain't gonna let you slide with that.
Disrespect.
Let you slide with some stuff, but that's not. I can't let you slide with that. But the point is, you're saying that Harden can still be the number one option. I mean, now granted, we still don't know the condition of KD. People say he looks pretty good. So maybe you're saying, hey, you throw Harden in case KD isn't at his peak performance. But I wouldn't. I would not surround my team with James Harden as the number 1 pick. I just wouldn't.
So where do you leave Kyrie in that situation? Where do you see him? Making his
in that pecking order. Yeah, Charles.
I'll see Kyrie. I'll make Kyrie the shooting guard, really, and I'll let Hart be the point guard. That's what I'll do. I'll have him playing like he was playing in Houston. But this time he doesn't have to be as ball dominant. He can give up the rock, especially to Kyrie and KD.
So the only cap in the feather or the advantage I would give you in this situation is they do have Steve Nash as their head coach now, and he's all about moving the ball. And I think they got Amari Stoudemire as the assistant coach, and I think they have someone else, right? D'Antoni, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
So I mean, that's going to be a good mixture right there in terms of if you want James Harden to be featured in any of the offense, at least. I mean, so James Harden with those coaches will be featured. I don't think it's a winning recipe to have him be the feature. But that's just my opinion.
I'm going to say this. As long as you have a Kevin Durant on your team, you can run any offense you want.
Kevin Durant that's coming off an Achilles, though. That's the only caveat.
I don't care if he's coming off a Thor of Ragnarok. He's going to kill. Ain't nobody. He is the epitome of a perfect basketball player, bro. Tall, lanky, move.
Yeah, but you gotta lose. Here's the thing, and I want people just like with the whole Klay Thompson thing. You gotta taper your expectation. He is coming off probably the toughest injury of all basketball. I mean, that an Achilles. I agree. It was a while back, and hopefully it's fully repaired. But you do lose something, okay? Even Kobe, the great Kobe, had lost something, and he wasn't at an advanced age. But still, you do lose something. So I don't expect him to be 100% Kevin Durant, but in big moments, I'm sure he will show out.
Sheldon, look at this NBA. Who's gonna stop him? Who's gonna stop him?
Like I said, this is not even about who could match up well with Kevin Durant. This is about him coming off his own injury, the toughest injury there is. You know what I mean? I would rather listen. I think like for instance, Paul George actually broke his leg, right? He actually it actually cracked.
Yeah,
and he was fully recover. And I have more confidence in that recovery than an Achilles, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, you about to find out.
I am, and I'm for the
the old NBA.
For the GOAT purposes and all that, I'm hoping I'm wrong. I really am, but I do expect.
This is not the old NBA where guys are physical and you're pounding and grinding.
This is not about physicality. This is about fast twitch muscles, which is your Achilles. Is like that's what you need it for.
Nah, not about. This is the what's that word?
Because you
This is the metrosexual NBA, bro.
You're old school. You think the NBA
metrosexual NBA.
You think the NBA is soft.
Guys wearing tight pants. These guys coming in the league are, 18 years old. Most of them gonna be out the league in about 6 months, bro.
Okay.
Come on, man.
Okay. I want to jump deeply into this because a lot of our viewers are saying that we only talk about old players and we neglect the value of the new player. But I do want to jump right into what you're saying, because what are you trying to insinuate? Are you insinuating the NBA is soft, as in like the refereeing of the NBA, or you think the players are soft, like the players don't want to play rough? Like there's a distinction.
It's a little bit of both.
You don't think the players
league, the way the game is played is soft. They're shooting threes. They're running up and down.
Soft as a ref.
Everybody that plays, they're athletes. They're not big guys. They're not the most muscular. These guys are rail thin. LeBron James is a monster out there compared. 20 years ago, LeBron James was average size small forward. Now he is like a power forward. Like there's no power forward even his size.
Right.
Okay. Drew, you agree with that? Or?
Yeah, pretty much, man. Because look, have you ever seen a guy since Carmelo? I mean, Carmelo was a beast, man.
And in prior podcasts, I know this is your first time on the podcast, I always want to give deference and reference to Dominique Wilkins, because Dominique Wilkins was a monster, scoring wise, physical wise, and he was a small forward. So I don't know if he would be able to defend LeBron, but LeBron would definitely have to defend him. You know what I mean? And we act like he didn't play. Listen, I want to be careful because I don't want to call people what they aren't. I don't want to call them not wanting to see physicality in the game when it's just the fact that it's just ref differently, right? So obviously the mid-range game has gone away and the long ball game is here to stay, right? Everything's kind of predicated around the long ball game. But I don't want to throw everyone on the bus saying that they soft and they're scared to play, because I got Westbrook and all these guys. They would love to rough it up, but I just don't think they'll allow it. I don't think they'll allow it.
Can they?
I think Westbrook can play in any era.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, he can. I'm not gonna say he can't. But what about the guys that are really elite in the league, like LeBron James? Who's gonna guard him in this NBA? Does anybody even think, okay, you know what? LeBron's gonna have a tough night playing up against him. We used to say Kawhi Leonard. After Kawhi Leonard, is there who's gonna slow down LeBron James?
So I want to put this in a box as well, because we also have to remember LeBron James is also an anomaly. He's actually one of the Mount Rushmores. So he's not supposed to be easily guarded. Like, that's not how it works. You know what I mean? You can't be like the greatest of all time and, someone could just match up with you. I wouldn't say anyone in the 90s could easily match up with Jordan, but because Jordan's an anomaly. You get what I'm saying?
You're right. You're right to a point.
Yeah.
But weren't there other guys that you would say, you know what? Jordan's not going to have it easy. He's not going to have it easy tonight. Guys are going to be going back at Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, back then there weren't switches on every play. Right. Like you guarded your man. Not only did you have to guard your man, but they could isolate you on one side of the court without you having any kind of help defense.
Mm-hmm.
If your man doesn't come across that court hard, it's an illegal defense automatic. Mm-hmm. They changed those rules.
Right. You can't like footsie it. Yeah, I get it. I mean, like I said, I do think it's a mixture of how the game's now being reffed and what they deem as valuable now, which is they don't want to see the long ball, meaning at the top of the circle of the free throw line and below the 3-point line. The coaches and the guys who run analytics, they don't want to see that game. They don't want to see that shot. They want you to step back and actually take that three. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Because you have big guys now launching threes. The game's completely changed. So, yeah, you're right.
All right, guys, we got a couple minutes left. I do want to talk about the other headline, which is the 76ers. They acquired Danny Green and Seth Curry, not Steph Curry and not Del Curry, but Seth Curry, which somehow it does increase their shooting, but I want to get your guys' opinion about the new look Philadelphia. I'm sorry with you, dog.
Well, I think the Sixers are coming back.
Okay.
This is a nice little I like the shooting of the team now with 2 additional players and also their draft of Maxey. He could stretch the court a little bit for Embiid also, whereas last year Josh Richardson really couldn't. Even Al Horford, even though he could shoot it a little bit, that's not what you want him doing. You want him to play to his strength, mm-hmm. And also this gives Ben Simmons the chance to actually be a point guard again and not be like the pseudo small forward. Now he can actually be point forward and just concentrate on passing and dominating inside.
Okay. Drew, do you have any confidence that you'll see anything different out of Philadelphia this year? Now, granted, let me set it up for you as well. They got the new players, plus they got the new head coach, and he has a dagger on his shoulder. He needs to produce. So, Drew, let me know what you think about the new look 76ers.
I think it's great. I think they picked up 2 guys, Danny Green, you said, and Seth Curry.
Yep. Yes.
And I think Seth Curry was a great pickup because he's actually a better percentage shooter than his brother. I think he's shooting like 45% from the 3-point line.
Doesn't have the dagger on his shoulder though, like his brother. But people like to pump the brakes on that. But I get it.
Right. And with Danny Green, he's a great off the ball defender too. But I don't know, his shot selection this year on the Lakers was terrible, man. So I don't know. Maybe they got to work that type of thing out. Maybe have a better season this year. But I think it's pretty good for the 76ers doing what they're doing, man.
So I hope Ben Simmons comes back with a shot. He's letting light-skinned brothers down. Big time.
Okay, so Charles, now that you told us your opinion, give us the pecking order. Do you think they're in the top 4 of the East now with this, or I mean, they were the top 4 last year, but still?
Okay, we got the Bucks.
Yes.
I expect them to be Eastern Conference champs.
Okay.
You got the Raptors. We got the Celtics.
Miami.
And we got Miami.
Okay.
I
So
think
do they
we're
crack
right
the top
there
4?
after Miami. I think we're in that Miami, Boston, Toronto range. We could be the second, but Embiid hasn't been consistent enough, dominant enough. Embiid has to basically average 30. I still don't recognize him as a dominant big man until you're, knocking on 30 per game. If you're not getting 30 and 10, geez, I don't understand. He's so dominant, but it doesn't really translate to game by game.
Right, I agree with that.
Trying to fit a circle in a square peg. You're trying to force him to be something he may not be. He may not be Shaq. You know what I mean? Again, this is why I have Shaq in my top 5 because he's such an anomaly. Like you can't just say a guy that's his size and maybe his weight is just going to be as good as Shaq. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. So, Drew, what are you thinking? We got a couple minutes here. What do you think about Philadelphia cracking the top 4?
Yeah, I think they have a shot, man.
Again, the order is Milwaukee, Toronto, Miami Heat, who's defending, Boston, and then potentially that. So do they crack the top 4?
Yeah, I think so, and I think Milwaukee might do it, but they just lost Bojan Bogdanovic, eh?
No,
he just didn't sign.
Yeah, he didn't sign. Yeah, right. So I mean, if they have him, then yeah, I think they're number 1 for sure coming out the East.
Okay. All right. Yeah, man. So listen, that was our podcast for tonight. Real quick, Drew, I just want to ask this. We've got about 30 seconds. I'm gonna let you end this podcast. Is there anything LeBron can do to pass Jordan? What can he do? 7 championships, 8 championships. What can he do to pass Jordan? Quickly answer. Or it could be a no.
To me, he cannot pass Jordan, whatever he does from this point.
Okay. All right, man. Again, that was our podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. And we'd love to hear your opinions about some of what we talked about tonight. And this was the recap. And again, guys, thanks again. And we out.
Peace.
Peace.